diesel automobiles in this country. But 50% of the world, or 50% of the cars overseas are diesel. And they're very clean. They can be clean. We have the technology. We have to ensure that people can afford to utilize them. And in that context, there is a balance to be struck here too. But we can't do so at the expense and ignore what's going on in the rest of the world. And the congressman has to pay attention to that and strike that balance for Montgomery County, for Frederick County, and for the concerns in Allegheny, Garrett, and Washington County. Thank you very much.
Kathy Asfali. How'd I do?
It's okay. They'll get it by the end of the night. Domestic energy production isn't about whether it's green or not green. We need to be energy independent for a lot of reasons. One of those reasons is because of your sons and daughters who go in harm's way, are continuously in foreign entanglements because of the world oil supply. We need energy here and now. Now, I do have a fundamental disagreement with the current congressman, as did my cohort here, Mr. Ripien. Our congressman has voted multiple times to not allow domestic drilling either in the Gulf or in Anwar. And this is a mistake because we're feeling it now. We're feeling it right now at the pump. And if we had our own domestic energy supply, if we were energy independent, you wouldn't be seeing $7 a gallon, which is what it's predicted to go up to in not the very distant future. So we can drill, and we can drill safely, and we can drill in an environmentally sound way. But we also have to remember that there is an end in sight to that oil supply. And we do need to explore, and we do need to advance green energy in terms of energy that is not based on fossil fuels. But until we can do that, until we have a way to make a car go that doesn't have a battery that blows up or costs about $70,000 to produce, until we can do that, we need to drill and we need to be energy independent. And this is critical to our national security. It's not just critical to our economy, it's critical to our national security. Thank you.
And Dr. Malad Purab.
Thank you. So thank you for being concerned about my safety. I drive a Volt and my battery has done just well so far. And it's been great because I get about 43 miles a gallon. Now I'm the only doctor in a group of 4 lawyers running for the Democratic side of the seat. So when I read this question, it said environment and energy. And whenever you look at energy questions, you look at it through a prism of economics. But we only have this one planet. Like an old car, we don't get to trade it in. And hopefully we'll leave it better for our children and future generations than what we found it. So I think whenever you talk about energy, you have to look at it from an environmental prism as well. Now, what are the facts? We all can agree that our economy is going to run on fossil fuels for the foreseeable future. But that doesn't mean we don't invest in alternatives. And we have to invest, and it's a serious investment. Let me give you an example. When we went into World War II, we were still using 30-year-old Springfield rifles. And most of the cavalry was still riding horses. By the end of World War II, we were flying B-29s and ended the war with an atomic bomb. That was a serious national cause. It took serious investment, and the U.S. came through. Well, that's what we need for our energies. We need to invest, because you know what? The United States, because we start somewhere, it doesn't mean that we can't end in a better place, and pretty quickly. So I very much support the idea of investing in research and development. Look, the next energy revolution is happening somewhere in the halls of the great institutions in Maryland. And frankly, if we don't invest in R&D, and if another country finds that next energy revolution, they'll be the leaders for the next century. We can't let that happen. We need to invest in our energy future. Thank you.
Thank you. We have an enormous opportunity as a country across the next 20 or 25 years to change how we source energy and how we use energy. And this needs to be embraced on a national level, not only among our political leaders, but by all the citizens of this country. And And one of the things I think we need more than anything else is a comprehensive national energy policy that has bipartisan support and every citizen understands what our objectives are across the next 20 or 25 years. And I think that national energy policy should have two critical components to it. The first thing it should do is appropriately price and cost for all of our sources of energy, because we do not include the cost of keeping our shipping lanes open when we talk about the price of oil. We don't include the cost of healthcare when we talk about the price of coal. In this country, which is a free market, if we appropriately price for our different sources of energy, the market will take us in the right direction. And that's incredibly important from a national energy policy perspective. And it's incredibly important to our economic future, to our national security, and to preserving our natural world and to our environmental future. The second component of a national energy policy should really focus on efficiency and storage. Because regardless of the sources of energy, if we become more efficient at using energy and better at storing, we win. That is the fastest way for us to become energy efficient. And guess what? It's a huge business opportunity and a huge employment opportunity. And it will happen in this world. The question is, will it happen in the United States? And will the United States be an exporter of this technology? Or will it happen somewhere else in the world? And that's the opportunity. As an example, they say if we can store all the energy lost on our grid in one night, that amount of energy powers all the cars in this country for 1 year. So think about the enormity of that business opportunity in terms of employment, and think about what that does for our national security, right, and for our environment. So, national energy policy.
Well, I want you to keep that picture in your mind of the white cats and the black cats. And depending which side, they're going to switch. If you're Democrat, one's the other. And then think, who is the mouse? We're in mouse land. And when I look out at you people, what I really see is a bunch of people with their heads on the ground and their feet sticking up in the air. Because we're looking at everything upside down. We've got Fox News on one side and we've got MSNBC on the other, telling us what to think about this energy crisis. First of all, I got to dispel the big lies. The government does not print our money in the sense that they issue it. The private banks issue our money, and it's our money, but we have to pay interest for it. And they never create extra money to pay the interest. So that's really what gets us in trouble. Now, one of my supporters took I'm actually funding my campaign because I can't get the banker to loan me money, so I'm issuing my own. And I actually have several thousand, and actually funded an entire environmentally sound renewable energy farm up in, but this is a $1 coin. In 1970, a couple years before the oil embargo, when gas was, I think, 36 cents, you could buy with this 4.8 gallons of gas. You can now buy 8 gallons of gas with the same coin. Has gas gone up in price? And that's what I'm talking about. You guys are looking at upside down. It's not gas that's gone up in price, it's the value of the dollar in your pocket. And go back and read about Joseph and the Pharaoh when there was the famines, and all the people had to go to the Pharaoh and say, please make me your slave, because that's what the banks have done. And I'm not talking about the neighborhood banker, I'm talking about the Wall Street bankers that have created these economic famines. And we are going to the government to beg us for our health care and everything else. Thank you.
I'm going to ask, since you have butchered my name, if you could repeat the question for me.
Oh, no, I don't blame you at all.
Thank you.
I'm surprised we got this far. With regard to energy and environmental issues, would you prioritize the environment or expeditiously develop the energy we need utilizing current technologies?
I think for me, it's the environment. I think all of us rely on the environment to provide so many more things that having, the prospect of living without a clean and productive environment doesn't really provide for a healthy and prosperous future for all of us. Look, I recognize that, energy conservation and renewable energies are important, but we can't do so at the expense of damaging the economy or damaging, the environment. Allowing spillages into our waterways that, that inhibit, farming and introduce poisons into our system, or, whether it's, tars in our lungs or whatever it is that we're doing. I think it's important that, again, as Dr. Puran said, we only have one planet. I don't foresee in my lifetime us finding someplace else for us to live and then destroy after several, thousands of years. We have one planet. The environment is important, and I think now our backs are against the wall. We're really starting to consider, can we drill for natural gas? Are we going to drill the Marcellus shales, for natural gas? Are we going to look at exploring, wind energy and solar energy and other types of renewable sources? Because now we're really considering how much damage potential we have for our environment. So for me, the balance is the environment, and with our backs against the wall and trying to protect the environment that we can't reproduce, we explore investment in renewable energies to make sure that we don't damage further what we've done already.
Joe Christoforski.
I'm surprised he doesn't have trouble with my name. He has trouble with yours.
My wife has Polish blood.
The United States is the third largest producer of oil in the world. Did everybody know that? We're the third largest producer. Saudi Arabia and Russia are 1 and 2. Exploration, innovation, and diversification is the future of our energy. We sit right now on probably the largest oil reserve, more oil under the United States, it's been estimated, than there is in Saudi Arabia, in the Middle East in some cases. North Dakota has now